Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christine and today we're going to talk about my 2025 hopefuls for the year. And I say hopefuls because I'm a mood reader, so I tend to not have a strict rule. I try not to have a list every month for what I'm going to read because I don't actually know what I'm going to read, but these are the books I'm hoping to get to this year. I don't have the full 25 on my list right now. I have 17 books on my list right now, so this will leave me open to new books that will come out this year that I'm hoping to prioritize, and also if there's any new series that I want to start, then there's also room for that. So the first book I'm going to talk about is Fourth Wing. This is the first book in the Empyrean series, which probably doesn't need a lot of introduction, but I'm only just getting started on this series. I'm about just over halfway reading this book right now, and I'm a bit slow this year. I've been reading that since I think mid-January, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping that I can get through the series this year, but for now I'm just really happy to be in this world, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I expected. And the next book on my list is Spark of the Everflame, the first book in the Kindred's Curse Saga series. And this follows Diem, who is trying to uncover the truth about her mum's disappearance, and then she comes across the heir to the royal family, who I think is guiding her on her journey on finding out the truth. And I know it's an enemies to lovers plot, which we all love, and also it's all a slow burn type of book, so I'm so excited to get this started. I'm hoping to start this after Fourth Wing, so we'll see how we go. We do love a fantasy back to back. And the next book on my list is Binding 13. I don't think this needs a lot of explanation. But this follows Shannon. She's just starting a term in college. She was hoping to hide behind the shadows and just have a quiet time in school. But on her first day, she meets Johnny, who is a rugby player and a star athlete, and who happens to, I think, fall in love with her. So I do have the Barnes & Noble copy, which I ordered from the US because the one we have in Australia is a much shorter paperback and also was quite thick. And mind you, this is also got very small handwriting, but this is much floppier and easier to hold than the books that we can get here in Australia. And the next book is Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz, and I think this is a duology. So this follows Hazel, who wants to be a surgeon, but in her time in 1817, because of her gender, she's actually not able to become a surgeon. So she made a deal with her professor that kicked her out of the course. She made the deal with him that if she could pass without his help, then she could potentially become a surgeon. She's got to figure out how she can get some studying done on the basic human anatomy. And then she comes across Jack, who is called a resurrection man, and he basically digs up dead bodies for a living, and hopefully he can help her on becoming a surgeon. So Jack and Hazel end up working together just to uncover some secrets, and I can't wait to get into this book. It just sounds so intriguing. And there's also a little comment there by Neil Gaiman, so can't wait to get into this. And next on this list is The Happy Place. I know, don't come for me. I still haven't read this. I've been putting it off for a while, and I actually read Funny Story before I even read this one last year, so I will prioritize this year. For those who don't know, Happy Place is about Harriet and Wynne. They have been together since they were in college. It's set in a cottage in Maine, and every year Harriet and Wynne and their friends actually spend the whole week having a relaxing time on this cottage, and none of their friends know that they broke up 5 months before going on this trip. They have to spend an entire week basically having a fake relationship. Actually, I don't know what you would call this trope, if they were together before and then they are now fake dating. Fake dating exes? That's new. That's new for me. Anyway, so Emily Henry, I can't wait to read this book. We only have 2 weeks left of summer here in Australia. Actually, it's already starting to cool down, so I have to prioritize this at least in the next month also. And then we have Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, and I don't really know if I want this to end. And you grow attached to characters for so long, and then suddenly that's the end of their story. Sorry, being very dramatic, but I really love this series, and I really just don't want this to end. This came out last year, at the start of last year, and I still haven't brought myself to reading it, because once I do, that's it. But I will prioritize this year. I will do a reading vlog when I do, and I'm not really sure if this needs any explanation. But this will follow Magnolia and BJ engage and trying to navigate their future and their life together, but I think a lot has happened in the past that will hopefully not ruin their current relationship. To be honest, I didn't want to read too much into what this book is about. I just read the back of it, and I don't want to know. I don't need to know. I just want to go without knowing very much. So I can't wait. This follows Daru, who is a red, and his main job is to mine Mars so that one day he can get enough elements on the planet so that one day it can be more habitable for humans. But it turns out that was actually all a lie. Red actually disguises himself as a gold and infiltrate their school, and hopefully he can finally take down these oppressors by becoming one of them. But once he gets to the school, he realizes he's not the only one who has this agenda. So it sounds thrilling, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm very intrigued. And next is the first book in the Crescent City series, The House of Earth and Blood. And last year I finished Throne of Glass, and just to complete my Sarah J Maas journey, I have to finish this series also. This is about Bryce, who finds herself losing all her closest friends, and to find the murderer she ends up working with a fallen angel named Hunt, who is now working under an archangel that was his nemesis, or he was trying to overthrow him, and he basically has to work with Bryce to uncover the murders and the mystery and the demon that's causing havoc in the city. And if they work together, and I guess if they solve the mystery, then he can finally be free. So I've read quite a few mixed reviews about this series, but I'm coming in with an open mind, and I kind of know a little bit of what to expect now from what I've heard from other people. I won't set my bars really high and expect it to be like Throne of Glass or Akatar, but I just can't wait to get into this world and into Sarah J. Maas's writing. So I've set myself a very difficult task starting new series this year, but we have to start it. And next up is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabra Tahir, and this book follows Laia, who has always followed the rules as well as her family, because in their world, if you go against the rules, there are pretty serious consequences. And her brother was arrested for treason, and to help set him free, she actually works with the rebels, who will help her get into the military academy, and in exchange she will spy for them from within the school, and they will help her try to free her brother, until one day she meets a soldier named Elias, who is the finest soldier in the school, and you know, I guess we'll see. Next we have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. So this follows Poppy. She's a maiden and she is preparing for her ascension, which is a ritual will grant her special status in her world. And to get her there, she's assigned this guard. His name is Hawk, who is assigned to protect her at all costs, and she actually doesn't know his true identity. As she gets closer to Hawk, she's actually learning more about her kingdom and what she's always been led to believe in her life, and she's starting to question a lot of things just before her ascension day. And then one day she finds out Hawk's true identity, which will make her question even more about what she's been taught her entire life to believe. So I think it's more complicated than that. I did try to read it last year when I finished Throne of Glass, but I think I just wasn't in the right headspace. So I'll try again this year with an open mind, and I hope I really get into this series as well. And of course, Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I have been waiting and waiting to find the time to read this, and I think finally this year I'll finally get around to it. But this is a story that follows Rin. She aced an empire-wide test that will actually allow people to enter the finest academy, and because she is pretty much a peasant, when she entered the school, a lot of people mistreated her and underestimated her, and then war breaks out between two empires in the story, and I think she realizes that she is a lot stronger than what she's been led to believe, and her powers, she actually needs to harness it to try to save the world. I can't wait to get into this book. I'm sure it's more complicated than what I just explained. I'm not the best at explaining what books are about, but I really hope I can get into this year and finish the series as well. And next we have Renegades by Stephanie Meyer. This is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles trilogy. So this follows Nova, who seeks revenge for her mother, who the Renegades failed to protect. Then she meets Adrian, who's an adopted son of one of the Renegade leaders, and together they're trying to get answers about what happened to their mothers. That's pretty much all I know about this story, and I hope we can get to this year. And next we have The Nightingale by Christine Hanna, and I think everyone has heard about this book recently on BookTube, and this follows a story of two sisters during the war, and I heard it's quite sad but quite memorable as well, and I think this will be a perfect winter book this year, just to get cozy on my reading nook and just have a good long cry with the ending. So looking forward to that. Then we have Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and this book was recommended when I was looking for similar books like Every Summer After. That was my favourite read for, what year was that, 2022 or 2023, and I came across this book. I bought it soon after, but I just wasn't quite ready to go through all that pain again, so I've been putting this off, and because I know what to expect and I think I know how I'm gonna feel, I've been putting it off all this time. So this is a story between Macy and Elliot, and this is going back and forth between the characters and going back and forth between the past and the present. And then in the present they have an unexpected reunion, and now Elliot will finally get answers from Macy, because I think it has been a decade since they last spoke. So I hope this won't be too sad, and if it's similar to Every Summer After, then I kind of know what I'm in for. So we'll see. And finally, I think I'm ready for an Haruki Murakami book. This is 1Q84, and I know this is probably very ambitious, but this can be a book that I read that's over 1,000 pages this year. But this has been staring at me on my bookshelves for the past 8 years, I think. It's still got a price on it. I think when I bought this I was in Malaysia, so I think that was actually 9 years ago. But I have been a little bit scared of this book, but I have grown a lot since then, and I have read quite a few more books, so maybe I'm ready for this. Let me know in the comments what I'm in for. But I do know that this is a fantasy dystopia and also a love story, So we follow two characters, Amame and Tengo, and their paths kind of intertwined, and they're trying to figure out and navigate through this world that is now an alternate world that was set in 1984. So I didn't want to read any more than that on what this book was about. I really want to see if Haruki Murakami is for me, and if I can actually get my head around his writing. I would just really like to explore his writing in particular, and I hope this year we can finally find that out. I think when I was younger, my friends always recommended Norwegian Wood for me to read, or have that as my first Haruki Murakami book. You know, I like a bit of a challenge, so let's try 1Q84 and add this to our list, or our most intimidating list this year. And that's it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed my 2025 hopefuls, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.